Hello everyone, welcome back to another Project Gladiator Weekly Overlook. Today I'll be covering the weather for the week of November 27th until December 3rd. So let's start off with our jet stream pattern and what we are expected to see as far as the jet stream this week. And what troughs we are expected to see. So as of right now, we are having that cold front out in the Atlantic Ocean that did pass through last week, as well as that very broad trough across the eastern half of the United States, which is leading to some snowfall across some of the Great Lakes region, anywhere from Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York, including the threat of some thunder snow. This is associated with a little bit of a cold blast out of the north, bringing quite a bit of cold air. That is going to be making a lot of this region below freezing, but I will be taking a look at that more so on our temperature models. That should be clearing out fairly soon, though, around the 29th to the 28th. That should be exiting out into the Atlantic Ocean. But between the 27th and the 30th, everything should be pretty calm with some rainfall here and there. But we are expected to see a second trough with a embedded shortwave trough here that you can really see taking form here, with a very prominent kink in the isobars and a very, very, very broad exit region of the isobars as well for that trough, with a very prominent embedded shortwave trough there that just really amplifies on the 30th. And that is going to be associated with a cold front as well. These cold fronts aren't really expected to be too spectacular, but they are going to be dropping temperatures a little bit and leading to quite a bit of rainfall for the Central Plains, Mississippi River Valley, and eastern half of the United States. This is expected to lead to the threat of severe thunderstorms. However, overall, the severity of these thunderstorms is still a little uncertain. I don't think we are expected to see crazy significant severe weather like we did last week, but we still should see severe weather nonetheless with this trough. But more information on that should be on the Wednesday update, because we are expected to see our severe thunderstorms mostly anywhere from the 30th to the 3rd. And the Wednesday update will be posted on the 29th, so that does give at least a day of wiggle room for the Wednesday update. So more information on the severe thunderstorms associated with that cold front should come Wednesday. And again, that is going to be leading to the threat for severe thunderstorms and quite a bit of rainfall across the eastern United States, the eastern half of the United States. Something else I do want to point out is notice that we have that almost constant stream of air out of the Gulf of Mexico here, with just tons of rainfall pouring into the southeastern United States. That isn't even really associated with a cold front. By now, our cold front would be somewhere out in the Atlantic Ocean, so we are just expected to see a ton of rainfall right along that subtropical jet into the southeast, and that is going to be leading to again, tons of rainfall and the possibility of flash flooding for the southeast regions. So that threat for flash flooding is definitely something that you guys are gonna have to be aware of. And then towards the end of the week, mostly into next week, we are expected to see a second cold front. I'm not really gonna go too in depth on that because it is expected to impact mostly next week. But we are also expected to see those cold fronts originate in the Pacific Ocean because the winds do move west to east. So when they do originate, we are expected to see them impact the western United States. So we could see tons of rainfall for Washington, Oregon, and Northern California, as well as extending across the rest of California. But anywhere from Northern California to Washington, along more of the coastal regions, the SBC is warning anywhere from 15 to 10 inches of rainfall could be possible for some of the more coastal regions of the Northwest there. So flash flooding could potentially become a concern for the Northwest. But overall, that's about it as far as our jet stream pattern. And now we can take a look at some of the outlooks that the WPC and SBC have currently issued. So as of right now for today, we aren't really expected to see a threat for severe thunderstorms or really any general thunderstorms, but we could see some thunderstorms for some of the Great Lakes region, for northern Ohio, the Erie region of Pennsylvania, into New York. around Lake Erie and this other Great Lake that I can't really remember the name of off the top of my head. But we are expected to see some convection come off of that. But the majority of the convection should be snow, and very heavy snow at that as well. So with the threat of general thunderstorms being around that area, but it being mostly snow, that does mean the threat for some thunder snow in that region for today. And that's going to be associated with that very broad trough across the eastern half of the United States, as well as that northerly push of much colder air. And then we can also take a look at what we are expected to see for tomorrow on the 28th. We are expected to see some general thunderstorms and some rain showers for some of the more coastal regions of Northern California there, north of the San Francisco Bay. That is going to be associated with the arrival of a cold front that is going to be impacting the Central Plains later on in the week. And then we also have our day 3 outlook, where we could see some general thunderstorms for some of the Four Corner states, as well as some of the thunderstorms ramping up in the south there for for the southern half of Texas. We aren't really expected to see too much convection for the 29th. Which is what our day 3 currently is. We are expected to see the majority of it on the 1st, but the 30th is expected to be when our thunderstorms originally begin to start ramping up. So overall, currently no issued areas for severe thunderstorms, but severe thunderstorms are soon to come. Taking a look at our WPC outlooks, starting off with our excessive rainfall outlooks for this week. From day 1 to day 3, we currently don't really have any issued areas for flash flooding that we are expected to be watching out for. For day 4 and day 5, we are expected to see at least a isolated threat for some flash flooding. And for day 3, which is the first, we are potentially expected to see some flash flooding, some isolated flash flooding for the Mississippi River Valley up to southern Illinois due to that cold front and some of the severe thunderstorms that we are expected to see later on this week. And then for our day 5 outlook, we are expected to see isolated threat for flash flooding for some of the deep south here for Illinois, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, parts of Georgia, and the Florida Panhandle. That is going to be associated with that cold front, as well as a constant stream of rain out of the Gulf of Mexico there, leading to the threat for some isolated flash flooding this far out for, I think, the 2nd. And then we can also take a look at our winter weather outlooks. Again, for today, we are expected to see quite a bit of heavy snow for some of the Great Lakes regions. And then for tomorrow, that is going to be ramping down a little bit, but we still are expected to see some heavy snow for some of the Great Lakes regions there. And then for our day 3 outlook, we aren't really expected to see all that much heavy snow, but still we could potentially see some heavy snow for some of the Great Lakes region in New York, as well as some of the Four Corner states. And then for our day 4 to day 7 outlooks, our snow is really going to be ramping up quite a bit, with quite a bit of snow extending from Washington into California, as well as around the Four Corners region. And then we are expected to see continuous snow for the Rocky Mountains. And then around day 6 to day 7, we are expected to see some snow for the Midwest, and then some snow for the New England corridor on day 7. And then we can take a look at our surface fronts that we are expected to see this week. For Monday and Tuesday, we are expected to see that cold front push out of the north here, associated with that very broad stream of flow. Again, leading to quite a bit of snow for some of the Great Lakes region there. And that cold front should move out into the Atlantic Ocean sometime by Wednesday. And then you can see on Tuesday into Wednesday as well, we are expected to see that cold front impact the California region here, leading to quite a bit of rainfall. And then that cold front is going to continue across the Rocky Mountains and arrive in the Central Plains sometime by Thursday. And lead to quite a bit of rainfall and the threat for severe thunderstorms on Thursday, Friday, and possibly up to Sunday across some of the Mississippi River Valley, Central Plains, and some of the deep southeast, and quite a bit of rainfall for the eastern half of the United States. And then again, you can see if you look over at the Rocky Mountains, as I was mentioning previously, we are expected to see quite a bit of snowfall mixed with some rain as well for the Rocky Mountains this week. And then taking a look at our quantitative precipitation, you can see where we are expected to see the majority of our rainfall this week. Take a look at the Northwest here, anywhere from Northern California up to Washington, mostly along the coast here. We are expected to see an absolutely ton amount of rainfall. You can see for the small portion here as well for northern Washington, northwestern Washington, that is going to be anywhere from 10 to 15 inches is expected to fall by the end of the week. That isn't expected to linger around, but that is expected to be how much we are expected to see fall in that region by the end of this week. And you can just see a absolutely ton amount of rainfall is expected for the Northwest there. And then another region where we are also expected to see a ton of rainfall is for the Southeast here, because of that jet of air and rain out of the Gulf of Mexico, where we could possibly see up to probably 5 to 7 inches of rainfall by the end of this week, as well as widespread rainfall for the eastern half of the United States, and very, very heavy rain for the eastern half of the United States as well. Now let's break down the timing of where we are expected to see our rainfall and snowfall for this week. So again, for today, we are expected to see quite a bit of snowfall for the Ohio River Valley and up across the New England corridor. And then for tomorrow, on the 20th, we are expected to continue to see some snowfall for the New England corridor. And then on the 29th, we aren't really expected to see too much, but we are expected to see that cold front impact California, as well as a little bit of rain for southern Texas there. And then on the 30th, we are expected to see that cold front arrive in the Central Plains and really explode across the Central Plains on the 30th. Again, it's kind of hard to tell really when we are expected to see our severe thunderstorms really begin to develop, but it does look like anywhere from the 30th to the 1st up until the 3rd. Hopefully it should be past Wednesday though, so we can squeeze in a Wednesday update right beforehand. But again, we are expected to see quite a bit of rainfall, as well as a threat for severe thunderstorms develop across the Central Plains and Mississippi River Valley on the 30th into the 1st. And that's going to continue across the eastern United States on the 1st as well, and quickly move into the Atlantic Ocean by the 2nd. And then we are also expected to see that that very strong band of rain out of the Gulf of Mexico on the 2nd as well, and then into the 3rd. Rain should be almost constant for a lot of the regions in the southeast here for the 2nd and the 3rd. And then let's take a look at our timing for our snowfall. For our most notable days, we should see snowfall for Arizona and New Mexico on the 30th, as that cold front propagates across the Rocky Mountains, and then we also should see another blast of rain out of the Pacific Ocean, leading to some rainfall for the Northwest on the 30th as well, and then another one on the 3rd and the 2nd. We are expected to see just a ton of blasts out of the Pacific Ocean. Again, the most notable dates for these blasts is expected to be on the 30th, the 1st, the 1st and the 2nd, leading to rainfall and snowfall for the Rocky Mountains this week. Taking a look at our temperatures and how these cold fronts are expected to be affecting our temperatures this week. Remember that blast I was talking about out of the north here? It is expected to be making temperatures much colder, especially at night across a very large portion of the United States. It looks like the vast majority of the United States, because of this blast, is expected to be seeing temperatures that could be below freezing at night, as far south as northern Georgia and northern Alabama. Anywhere in the blue circle, I know it goes off screen a little bit, but anywhere north of this line has a very good chance of seeing temperatures that could be below freezing at night. And then in the day, let's see where we could see our let's see where our temperatures could go in the day. And even in the day, we are expected to see temperatures are going to be below freezing for much of the Ohio River Valley, anywhere from the Midwest Ohio River Valley, probably not getting as far south as Tennessee, but as well as the Appalachian region and New England corridor, and then some areas in the Rockies, is expected to be seeing very, very cold temperatures because of that cold blast out of the north. And you guys definitely need to be taking the necessary precautions if you know you live in any of the areas that could potentially be affected by these very, very cold temperatures this week. And it isn't really going to stop there either. We are still expected to see very, very cold temperatures for the 1st and 30th after it warms up just a tad. But still, temperatures are going to be getting below freezing for a very large portion of the United States at night in the Central Plains, anywhere from the Oklahoma Panhandle up to northern Illinois. Even the Texas Panhandle there could potentially see temperatures that are going to be getting below freezing at night on the 1st and the 30th. It is going to warm up a little bit by the end of this week. Overall, we should see warmer temperatures by the end of this week. But overall, it is going to be getting very, very cold for some of the days on this week for some of these areas. By the end of this week, we could still see some lingering temperatures that are going to be getting below freezing for some of the very far north, for North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, as well as some areas in the Rockies. Taking a look at our supercell composite, this is going to be showing us where we could potentially see the threat for severe thunderstorms this week. So on the 30th, you can see a very, very strong area of very indicative supercell composite readings up across Texas here. And this should extend up into some of the rest of the Central Plains as that cold front pulls everything out of the south here. And as that progresses eastward, we are expected to continue to see that push along some of the Gulf Coast states, as well as pull it up into the Mississippi River Valley on the 1st, and then into the 2nd as well. We could still see the threat for severe thunderstorms as that cold front exits into the Atlantic Ocean here. We could still see some areas for some of the deep southeast here, but overall it shouldn't really be too bad. On the 2nd is on the 1st and 30th. So that's mainly where we are expected to see the threat for severe thunderstorms. Anywhere in this blue circle could potentially see a threat for severe thunderstorms, with areas in the red circle potentially seeing a little bit more of the highest threat for severe thunderstorms this week. Taking a look at our dew points and moisture return to the Central Plains, after that first cold front pushed through, we don't really have all that much moisture in the United States. However, around the time that cold front, the second cold front reaches the Central Plains, it's really going to pull a ton of moisture into the Central Plains and Mississippi River Valley really quickly too, leading to a ton of ample instability to support the threat for severe thunderstorms on the 30th and the 1st. Again, it's going to pull a ton of moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico very, very quickly, and we should see enough ample instability to support the threat for severe thunderstorms later on in this week. Now let's take a look at where we are expected to see the majority of our snowfall this week. Notice this Rocky Mountains here, where we are expected to see a ton of snowfall. Anywhere from Arizona, as well as some portions of the Texas Panhandle, up into Washington and Idaho and Montana. Overall, I'm not really sure how accurate this is. Up to 48 inches of snow in Washington is what these models are indicating, as well as a very strong band across the mountains here. Anywhere from 20 to 30 inches of snow. I don't really think that's going to be too accurate, as our GFS models do exaggerate things sometimes. So I don't really think that's going to be too accurate, but we still are expected to see snow, and it could still indicate that we could see quite a bit of heavy snow for the Rocky Mountains there. But again, we are expected to see a ton of snow for the Rocky Mountains this week. And then again for the New England quarter towards the beginning half this week, and then also on day 7 on Sunday, as well as some parts from Michigan, and then also the Midwest as well, where we could potentially see some light snow on some days. Taking a look at our climatology outlooks, for our temperature outlooks, you can see that virtually everywhere in the United States is expected to see the threat of temperatures being above average this week, with a area in the northern central plains they're seeing up to a 70% chance of temperatures being above normal. Yesterday, this 70% chance was down here, I'm pretty sure, but it has been moved up north. But it does go to show that we are expect to see some fairly warm temperatures, or not fairly warm, but above average temperatures this week. We are expected to see very, very cold temperatures, but they aren't really expected to be all that below average. But we still could see some below average temperatures for some regions, for a very small portion of the Four Corners here, for Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. Where we could see up to a 33% chance of temperatures being below normal. So overall, it's not too great as far as the chance of temperatures being below normal, but we are expected to see a very, very big chance of temperatures being above normal, even though we are expected to see very, very cold temperatures this week. And then we can also take a look at our precipitation outlooks. Mostly, the United States is split into 3 quadrants, with the Northwest here and Northern California there having the greatest chance of temperatures being precipitation being above normal, with up to a 60% chance of temperature or precipitation being above normal. And across the eastern half of the United States into southern Texas here, we could see up to a 40% chance of precipitation being above normal. And that we are expected to see anywhere in the southwest up into the central plains up to a 40% chance of precipitation being below normal. Now that I've told you the weather, please go down to the description and check out the socials for Project Gladiator, and join the Discord for any updates on Project Gladiator. And if you live in any of the areas I covered for this week, please stay weather alert for the time being. If you notice that anything might have been wrong with this forecast, or you have a question, or you would like to make a suggestion, please leave a comment. 2 other channels that I highly suggest you check out are One Nation Weather and Weather Watcher. One Nation Weather is extremely close to 1,000 subscribers, and he may have already hit it. I haven't checked, but he is very, very close. So if you could do him a favor, please go over there and subscribe to him. And hopefully I'll be able to see you guys tomorrow with another forecast.